Hello everyone, this is my second lecture on leadership style and versatility index. So before my lecture I used to read Quranic verse Rabbi Shrah li Sadri wa Yassir li Amri wa Hlul 'Uqdatam min Lisani Yafqahu Qawli Rabbi Zidni Ilma. Okay, this is my continue from last leadership lecture number 1. So today I'm going to discuss leadership style. So as a part of leadership versatility index. Okay, lesson number 2, forceful and enabling leadership style. Okay, in this slide I'm going to discuss objective of forceful and enabling leadership style. After completion of this lecture, so you will demonstrate following 5 factors. Number 1, effective as a leadership team leader. Number 2, what are this person's major strength as a leader? Does this leader overuse any of his or her strength? Does this leader have any shortcomings? Number 5, rating of the leaders and its overall effectiveness. Leadership model. The leadership versatility index is based on a leadership model that consists of 2 major pairs of opposing but complementary approaches. Number 2, whereas 2 opposition represent the tension and trade-off that make management a balanced act. Number 3, 1 pair, forceful and enabling, concerns leadership style, how one leads. Number 4, each of these major pairs is comprised of 3 pairs of specific sub-dimension in the next slide I'm going to discuss. Okay, in this slide I'm going to discuss leadership model. Forceful leadership style versus enabling leadership style. In forceful leadership style, take charge, declare and push. Opposing enabling leadership style, empower, listen and sports. In the first segment, assume authority and give direction when problem arise. Into enabling leadership style, trust others, address the problem, give a room to contribute. Similarly, declare, decisive and take a position and defend. Consider input and open to discuss. High expectation, hold the people accountable. In sports segments of the enabling leadership, treat people well, appreciate and give a people benefit of doubt. Okay, forceful enabling leadership style, versatility index model. The ability to draw upon these 2 opposites restricted by bias in favor of one side and prejudice against the other side. So the higher the percentage, the greater your versatility on this important duality. So over here, forceful enabling versatility 26%, co-work 90% and subordinate 90%. If you see co-workers and subordinate gain a high percentage, so it constituted a high versatility index compared to your personal where you stand in this model. So in my next slide, I will talk about forceful enabling leadership comparison. In empowering and take a charge, first 2 segments I'm going to discuss. Over here, if you can see here, my first segment 1E, 2E, 3E and 4E. These 4 segments are part of enabling leadership. In take a charge, 1F, 2F, 3F and 4F. These are a forceful leadership style which have the 4 segments. So these are opposite to each others, are opposing to each others. So in 1E, empower the people to let go. So into 1F, controlling is the area of the responsibility. Both are opposing to each other. In similar pattern, give a people room to show initiative. Make it clear he, she is a leader. Allow people to decide how to do their jobs. Give a people direction what to do. Number 4, E, trust people to handle the problem that come in their area of responsibility. Number 4, F, step in, gets the personnel involved when problem arise. So these are 4 segments in a take charge opposing to empowerment of 4 segments into enabling leadership style. Okay, in my this slide, I'll simulate the model, leadership model, take a charge versus empower, the first segment of my model. As you can see here, the scale on the right hand side is too much, left hand side too little, and in the middle is a right amount of my strength. If I stay on the right hand side, it means I use my strength, strength overused. If I stay on the left hand side, so I use my strength, shortcoming of my strength. So if I stay in the middle, so I use a right amount of my strength. In the first scenario here, 5F and 5E, both scenario, demonstrate here that from positive 3 to positive 2. So both I used on my strength overuse in this area. Similar in the second scenario, 2F and 2E, I used my strength plus 3 and plus 2. And the third, I used my strength plus 3 and plus 4. So in the last, plus 3 plus 4. So I used strength, overused strength in this area. So rest of my all co-workers and subordinates stay in the middle. So they used a right amount of their strength. So on my take a charge and versus empowerment, so I have overused my strength in this area. And in my next slide here, okay, enabling leadership style, the second segment is declare and listen. 5F, 6F, 7F, 8F opposing to 5E, 6E, 7E and 8E. So now I'm going to simulate these segments into my next slide. Okay, declare versus listen. Declare versus listen, if I stay in the middle, so I'm using a right amount of my strength. If I stay on the right hand side, I'm using my strength too much, left hand side too little. Okay, in my first scenario, 5F and 5E, if we can see here, I'm using my strength plus 3 and plus 4, enabling and forceful leadership style. In the second scenario, I'm using plus 3 and plus 4. Into my 7 number, I'm using my leadership and forceful leadership 7 and 3 plus 3. In the last, I'm using a 0 here, a right amount of my forceful leadership style, but enabling leadership style, I'm using negative, shortcoming here. So in the similar, if I can see here, my subordinate plus S over a plus 1. So here is a plus 1, my all, and here is a plus. So these are my subordinate and S. So over here, I'm also not in the using a right amount of my style into enabling and forceful leadership style as far as the subordinate and my co-workers are concerned. Okay, this is my third element of forceful and leadership style simulation model. 9F, 10F, 11F, 12F opposing to 9E, 10E, 11E and 12E. These are opposing to each other. So now I'm going to simulate this model into my next slide. Okay, now pushes versus a sport. So the pusher versus sport have a same scenario. First 9F and 9E, if you can see, so I'm using plus 3 and plus 4. I'm using overuse my strength over here. In similar here, minus 1 and plus 4. So in my expect lot from the others, I'm using not right amount of my strength over here. I'm using negative here. In the fourth here, 11F and 11E, I'm using plus 4 and plus 4, enabling and forceful. And the last here, I'm using hold people accountable from when they don't deliver. In the middle, give the benefits of doubt, patient when the people are not doing their job well. So I'm here stay in the same. So I did not use a forceful enabling leadership style. At some extent I stay in the same. I'm using right amount of the enabling leadership style. So these are outcome of my models. So +3 +4 -1 +4 +4 +4 and 0 over here, and similar +1 -1 and +1 -1. These are the co-workers and subordinates, how much they are using enabling and forceful leadership style. Okay, now I'm going to conclude forceful leadership guided perceptions over here. So this is my frame which I have used in my simulation model. If I stay on the positive 4, so I'm using my strength too much. If I stay on the negative, I am not using my strength, shortcoming on my left hand side if it's negative. Okay, now if you can see the legend here, YU, gray bars, all co-workers and subordinates. If you see here the gray bars, my co-workers stay here, and as the subordinates in this area. And strength overused all the time, I stay over here. So that is my forceful leadership styles concluded from models as I have discussed in my earlier slide. Into next slide, if you can see here the same pattern here. So this is my measurement bar as discussed earlier. YU, gray bars, co-worker and as well subordinates. So if you can see the gray bars here, that is my co-worker style here is they stay here the positive, here is negative, slight negative. So but the Y I stay strength overused over here, and my subordinate most of time they stay here, or one time they on the sport side they come on the negative here, on the listen side once they come on the positive mode here. So this is my enabling leadership guided perception of final results. Okay, forceful and enabling leadership distribution of the rating. Okay, now I'm going to conclude my presentation. This is my last slide, enabling leadership style and forceful leadership style. If you see my calculation here based on the simulation, I stay 83% all the time. I stay 83% on an enabling leadership style compared to forceful leadership style of 58%. So I use right amount of the enabling leadership style and stay in the middle compared to my forceful leadership style. Thank you very much for your precious time. Very soon you will have my another lectures on operational and strategic leadership style. Thank you very much. Please send me your feedback and comments t.masood.dr@path.edu and subscribe my channel. Thanks and stay blessed.